Welcome to the Evans Legacy Financial Podcast, where real people have real conversations about money, mindset, and making moves. I'm your host, Jake Evans, and this show isn't about fluff or hype. It's about educating our community, sharing stories, and giving you the tools to make better decisions in business and in life. Let's dive in. Good morning again, and welcome to the Evans Legacy Financial Podcast. Today with me, I have Sandra Hernandez. Sandra, welcome. How are you today?
I'm amazing.
You're amazing. Yes, you are. All right. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about resilience, sacrifice, and finding purpose in unexpected places. So Sandra, she was born in Mexico, raised until 15, when she moved to the United States without knowing a word of English. Like her friend that was here last week, Sandra pursued college with the dream of becoming a surgeon. When her stepfather was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, life took a dramatic turn. Balancing 2 jobs and a full course load, she discovered the financial services industry. This was a path that allowed her to fulfill her mission of helping families in a whole new way. Today, as a successful financial services broker, she's creating security, opportunity for others while living a life of purpose and impact. So Sandra, we're going to talk about life in a whole new country. What was it like for the first 15 years in Mexico before moving to the U.S.?
It was amazing. I love Mexico. My whole family is there, so it was just my home where I grew up, and that's all I knew. It was hard growing up when my parents got separated. When they separated, my mom was struggling with money, and I always saw that since I was little, but I thought we were okay and we were happy, and we were moving from house to house. And I didn't realize she was struggling that much until she decided to come here and leave everything behind. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of, at the beginning, I didn't understand it. I was younger, and then I realized, because in Mexico, she used to work in an office. She used to dress nice, wear heels, and then she came over here and she started working on the fields packing companies. It was an impact for me.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Going from an office life to working in the fields, that's a little bit of a shift. So what was it like arriving here at 15 and without English?
It was scary. I mean, I came to a completely different country. I just wanted to be with my mom. I grew up with her pretty much. When I stayed back in Mexico, I was living with my dad and my 2 brothers, so being the only woman in the house is kind of hard. So when I came here, I think one of the biggest challenges was the language. Mm-hmm. Just like even going to school, when people talked to me, I didn't understand. So the first 2 years, that was one of the hardest things. And the weather. I wanted to go back.
You wanted to go back from here to Mexico?
Yeah, the weather was killing me. I don't like cold weather. And I came on this.
Okay, I was going to say it's hotter down there than it is here, but it was the cold.
No, it was the cold weather.
It was the cold. Okay.
It was November, so I was freezing all the time.
Yeah, it does get cold. See, I've lived here over half my life, and I've remembered when it was colder here. In 1 year, it was colder here than it was in Anchorage, Alaska. It was like 12 degrees or something like that on that same day. I'm thinking, this is too cold here. This is too cold.
It is. Another thing was the food. It's completely different. So I remember when I first came, my mom asked me, hey, what do you want to eat? So in Mexico, Kentucky Fried Chicken was one of my favorite foods, but it was kind of like a luxury to buy it. Mm-hmm. So when I came here, I said, I want to go eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. And then she's like, okay, let's go. And it was horrible. It was horrible. So that's another thing. I couldn't eat tortillas for a long time. It was hard to get used. It's a completely different.
I'm told that because I have a very big Hispanic friends and some family that I'm with, and they're always like, yeah, this isn't the same. It's not like it is in Mexico. Yeah. And I get it because I've been down there and I've eaten down there, and it's like, but the beauty is that we have my mother-in-law, she makes homemade corn tortillas. and homemade flour tortillas, and they're the best. It's like, oh my God, where do I get my dozen?
Yeah.
All the time. So how did you kind of talked about this, so I want to dive a little bit deeper. So how did your mother's sacrifice your influence or influence your mindset and your drive?
So I think I was born with it, first of all, 'cause since I was little. And I remember I used to tell her, I'm going to buy you a home one day. Mm-hmm. And I used to tell her that growing up. And I think since I was little, I just wanted to do better because I saw her struggling so much. I remember we lived in my grandparents' home for a long time. And it was just tough going from home to home. So I always wanted to do something big. I didn't know what. When I was little, I said, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to make a lot of money. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I started thinking I want to have my own business. I used to watch TV and see successful people having their own businesses. And I didn't know how, so I started looking into that. And actually, I got into business administrations first before I even got into medicine. And then once I started looking into the career, I realized that they don't teach you how to open a business or how to start your own business. They teach you more towards accounting and like how to manage a business for someone else. So I said, I don't think that's what I want to do. And I still wanted to help people. I wanted to make a lot of money because I have big dreams and goals and a lot of projects I want to achieve. And of course, help my family. So I started looking like some of the best careers and then I said, you know what, medicine is awesome. I can help people and I can make good money at the same time.
Okay, so there we come to chasing the dream of medicine. And that kind of inspired you to become a surgeon, is being able to help people. Still, you already looked at a path that you didn't really get to the core of it yet, but you said, well, I don't want to work for somebody else and run their business. I want to run my own business. So being a surgeon, I can do that. I can still help people, still make the money I need to make, correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, and that was one of my goals. I said I can make money and start my own business, eventually. I think it was also my mom always wanted to be a nurse. She didn't have the opportunity. She told me when she was little or back in her time, at least in Mexico, the culture was different, so women really didn't go to school. So she has 12 siblings and all the brothers they have careers, they're doctors, and the women, they didn't go to school because that's how they grew up. So I think when she started telling me about it, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, and it really caught my attention. But I wanted to be more than that. I said I want to help people in a different way. So I said, well, if I'm a surgeon, I can do emergency surgeries and help people that way. And that's kind of how I got into it.
So how did you navigate college while adjusting to life in the U.S.? So you came here at 15. You went to school here. Where'd you go to school at?
I got here in sophomore year. I went to Central East.
So you and Giovanna both went to the same school. Okay, my kids went there too. So I was saying that's a really great school because my kids went there. So I get it. Yeah.
Yes, I liked it.
Okay. And is that where you met her?
Yes, it's crazy because we're neighbors. She literally lives like probably 8 houses down the street from me.
Really?
But I didn't know. We didn't know we were neighbors. So the only reason why we met, and I think everything is destined, but it's because we were in special classes because we didn't know English. So we were learning English and we had the same class. And we kind of talked to each other there, but we weren't as friends. And then one day I was taking the bus and I realized she was in my same bus. And that's how we realized we were neighbors.
Okay. So it's back to the, adjusting, navigating college while adjusting and after high school. I wanted to touch on that, where you went to school, because I want to connect you two. You two are a really important part of this office, important part of our team here. So talk to me about the adjustments to life and
the United States.
Yeah.
Yes. So
while navigating college at the same time.
Yes. So I do want to go back a little bit. For the first 2 years here, I didn't speak English. I didn't want to. I was really embarrassed, and I learned how to write it really good. I don't know why. I think I just didn't like having bad grades, so I learned how to write it. So my teachers used to tell me, it's so weird that you don't speak a word of English. and you don't understand much, but you write it and you can, read it and understand it. So in senior year, they just took me out of those classes. They got rid of the classes and they put me in regular classes. And it was like I didn't have friends to tell me what the teacher was saying anymore. So I kind of said, if I really want to do good, so I got to start learning. So that's how I started speaking more English. And then when I went to school, when I started going to college, I was pretty much in my own. So kind of just trying to practice more. I didn't like speaking it. I used to speak to people and they used to tell me, hey, you can speak to me in Spanish. And I'm like, no, it's because I wanna learn. I wanna practice more. So I wanted to get a job and nobody wanted to give me a job because I didn't speak English. So I said I had to master this. So I just started really focusing and learning the language. And yes, going to school, it was tough, especially in my history classes is when I had like the toughest moments understanding, because the words were too complex. So going through college was a little tough because of the language, but that didn't really stop me. One thing I really, really liked, I used to like writing a lot. So I used to love my English classes. I had a critical thinking class.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So I used to put a lot of into writing my essays, and that's kind of how I think, because I really like writing, is how I learned the grammar.
And I tell people, and I'm a notary and I sit in front of people all the time, and it's like, it's a Hispanic speaking family, but they understand enough to be able to have me sit in front of them and do the notary, right? So I'm able to do it if they can say yes, they can understand. And the wife, she's talking to me, and I go, English, right? She goes, yeah, I do. And I says, well, then what? She goes, well, I'm afraid how I'll sound. I said, never. And I'm going to tell people this who have the accent, who are struggling with English. I'm the same way. I am the same exact way. I'm afraid. I know Spanish. I know enough, but I'm afraid to speak it because I'm going to butcher it, right? But on the other hand, I always told this. I told this gal, and I always tell people who have a language barrier or that accent or whatever, own it, because I understand you. It's a beautiful language. It's the accent is amazing, I think, to me. So own it. Go out there, and I think that's kind of what I see with you, is you just kind of took the bull by the horns. You owned it, and you says, I'm just going to go do this, and you're successful. So there you go. So looking back, let's see, where am I at here? I just lost my spot. Looking back, what did you learn about perseverance during that time, like pushing?
I think I always had it. It's just coming to a different country. It's scary and it's different. It kind of put me down for a long time, but as I said, it was seeing my mom working at the fields and coming home. She will get injured and she will have to go to work. So I was like, okay, what I'm doing is nothing compared to all the sacrifices she's doing. Besides, she was away from her kids and her family, and she hasn't seen them for a long time. So I was like, okay, I gotta keep persistent. And I realized I actually applied for a lot of jobs and I couldn't get anything for a long time. And I went to an interview one day, and there was like 10 people waiting outside. It was at Metro by T-Mobile. And I was so nervous. Like, I always get nervous. That's something about me. Since I was little, I always had it. So
you got a little nervous coming in here today, so I get it.
Yes, every time. I go on a stage right now, and like people see me, and they're like, I'm like, no, I still get nervous. I shake.
Yeah.
But I went in there and I did the interview, and they called me, and I was like, oh my God, they called me. So I just learned that staying persistent and keep going for your dreams, it's always gonna pay off. And I think I'm very blessed, and me and my family are very blessed. Someone is taking care of us, so it's just always having faith as well.
And that's one of our first things on the wall out there is faith, right?
Yes.
So life changes, family changes. How did your family's your stepdad's cancer diagnosis affect you and your family?
So for me, it was a surprise. I think he was sick for a long time, but he never really got checked. So I didn't know that until I was talking to my mom one day after he passed. away, and she told me no, the doctor used to send him to get colonoscopies, studies, and he wouldn't go get them done. So it was like, for me, it was out of nowhere. In the middle of the night one day, he just got really bad, and we had to call the ambulance. And then I was at school the next day, and I went to the hospital coming out of college, and they told me he had cancer, stage 4. And
Wow.
it was a surprise, and it was very tough. And at that time, I didn't understand. I thought he was gonna get better. I didn't understand how bad it was.
How old were you then?
I was 18.
18. Okay, that's tough to hear. And how long had he been in your life?
Only 2 years.
Only 2 years.
Yes,
Okay.
but he was an amazing person. I think everybody around him loved him. And it was the fact, like, I'm here because of him. He helped my mom through everything to bring me here. And since I came, he has other 2 kids. And we lived together, and he never made a difference. Since I came, like, he gave me so much love, and he was just like my dad. He treated me like I had a better relationship with him than my actual biological dad for different reasons, but he was a really important person in my life, so it was really hard.
So we're going to talk about your college, and during this time, you're balancing 19 units in school, working 2 jobs and all that. What was that like for you coming? I mean, you're in a new country, you're 4 years here, you're just learning English, working 2 jobs, you're struggling with all this family stuff. Tell me about that.
It was definitely tough, especially because when I came here, when I was in Mexico, I had my first job at 14 years old, and I started paying for my own stuff, my own clothes, my own food, everything. When I was in Mexico, my mom used to send me money. I used to tell her mom, like, don't send me money, save money so you can come back.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. So I got a job so I could pay for my own stuff, and she could eventually go back. And I always even give my dad money for the bills. So when I came here, I feel like I didn't have to work. I was going to school. I feel like I was being a kid for the first time. So when I was going to school, I was focusing there 100%, and my mom and my stepdad were supporting me a lot. So when he got diagnosed, I was trying to get a job, but just kind of to make some money on the side. But once he got sick, he had to stop working, and we had to pay bills, and his income was very important for us. So I had to get my first job, and then eventually he couldn't take care of himself, and we didn't have long-term care or any. We couldn't afford to pay someone to take care of him, so my mom had to stop working and start taking care of him, and she couldn't get paid for it because of her immigration situation at that time. So I decided to get a second job they were offering me at a school, and I think that's probably why I also got my first job when I went to the interview, because I really needed it and I had to make it happen. But I got my second job working at a school, and I was an assistant for one of the counselor offices there, and I was taking 19 units per semester because my career was 16 years long. So I said, okay, if I want to finish this faster, I had to take more classes. So they tell us, don't take English, math, chemistry together. Don't take those classes together. Those are the exact classes I was taking all at the same time, the hardest classes. So I remember I used to stay in for tutoring, and when I started working, I couldn't. So my grades started dropping, especially because I think it was hard for me to understand everything 100%, like other students usually do, because of the language. My grades started dropping, so it was really tough. Before that, I had a 4.0 my first semester GPA, and after that it dropped. I got a straight C's for that semester, so it was definitely tough. And going to the hospital after work, I wasn't sleeping. I tell people right now, when that happened, I was literally sleeping 2 hours a day, or I wouldn't sleep at all, because I would go home and do my homework the whole night. And then the next day, I would just go to school, drive straight to school without sleeping. And I would sleep between classes, so it was definitely tough.
So and what I'm hearing now is a driven young woman who wants what she wants and is going after it.
Yes.
Right? That's and that's powerful. So those challenges you had, those were a lot. I'm hearing a lot of challenges. How did that shape and I know the answer to this, but how did that shape the person you are today?
Well, I think when people, I think that helps you grow as a person, and I think I consider myself a person with a great mindset. And people tell me I'm very mature for my age, but I think that happens when you go through situations like that. It's just life shapes you. But I always think things happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, and everything that we went through had to happen. And of course, like, I wish my dad was still with us and I achieved things, and I wish he was here and like celebrating with us. But I know that made the woman I am today, and thanks to that, I'm able to help a lot of people. So I think since I was little, all the situations that me and my mom and my family went through just help us grow and become the person we are today. It's just when you go through situations like that, you get mentally tough.
Yeah, and I'm going to share a little story here that I remember a few years back, I was sitting on a bench in Santa Maria, and was that Cal Poly area, right? And it was the college town, San Luis Obispo, I think it was. Anyway, I'm sitting on a bench, and I was sitting with a friend of mine, and these two young kids, college kids, come up to me, and I'm 50-something years old, and they go, "Hey, you're older," and I'm like, "Watch what you're saying. Choose your words carefully." So we laughed, and they go, "If you could go back, we're just kind of curious, if you could go back and change anything about your life at seeing yourself at our age, what would you change?" And I looked up and I said, up at him, and I know my story is juvenile hall and running away and leaving home at 13 and making bad decisions and all that. And I actually honestly didn't even have to think about it. And I looked up and I said, nothing. Because every decision I made, every step I took made me the man that I am today. And I'm hearing that from you, is everything, you're right. And then we talked about this last week with Giovanna, is you're right where you're supposed to be. Yes. Every step of the way, you're right where you're supposed to be. And that's what makes us who we are today.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? Me and my family we don't say very religious, but we believe we have a big faith in God. So when all that happened with my dad, I was really mad. I was really mad at God. I remember.
That happens.
Yeah, I remember I used to be like, we're good people. We do everything right. I pray so much. And when he passed away, I was really mad for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I got away from all that. And I think for a long time, I was getting depressed. That's when COVID hit. So I had to stop going to school, and I was at home for a long time. My mom actually got really scared about COVID, so we were pretty much at home all the time. She didn't want to go out at all. She's like, "Oh," I was working from home. I was still working at a school, but I was just working virtually. So just staying home was tough. I feel like I was just letting myself go. And I was mad for a long time, so I finally decided to look for help, and I started going out to nature, and that's when I realized everything that happens for a reason. So I feel like I kind of, thought about it, and I'm like, God does things for a reason, and He has never left us alone, never. No. Like, something always happens. Like when we're in the worst situations, like He's got our back. So I don't know. It's been a journey, but. And I agree with you. People, like, if they were to ask me, what would you change? I probably think about things. I would have done this different, but you're completely right. Everything happens for a reason.
And I see your emotion behind this, and I really am. I'm touched. Okay, I'm touched by it because I see how close you were to your stepdad. I see how close you are to your family, and you love them, and you want everything to be right. So we're going to shift gears a little bit. Hopefully, turn a little positive here. Discovering financial services. How were you first introduced to the financial industry?
Talking about this thing, it was a crazy way. So I was still at a school. My dad was still at the hospital at that time, and I was really busy back then. So I remember it was Christmas season, and we were buying presents. We're at fashion fair at the mall, looking for presents, and like 2 years back, I had bought a straigner, hair straigner, and I really loved them. I was like, it was the best strainer I ever had. So I wanted a new one. And I remember like they're always there, so I was looking for them. And the crazy thing is like they just got a replacement, but I just wanted to buy a new one. So I walked to the kiosk, and I was talking to it was a young lady, and she told me, hey, like we have a promotion today. If you buy one and you go to this meeting, we'll give you another one for free. And I remember, like, we're Mexican, so for us, it's like, that's too good to be true.
Right.
And, like, there's something here, behind this. And I told her, I was like, no, it's okay. Like, I'm good. And my mom asked me, because my mom was with me that day. And she's like, what is she saying? What are they going to give you for free? And I was like, no, Mom, like, they said a strainer. I'm like, but forget about it. And she's like, and the girl spoke Spanish. I started speaking to my mom. And my mom is like, well, just go to the meeting. Like, we can send it to your sister. I was like, oh, my God. And I told her, well, if you want it, you go. And she's like, no, because I don't speak English. And I was like, and the girl goes, they speak Spanish. And my mom is like, you're going anyway. And I was like, okay, whatever. So she gave me the contact, and they called me and they scheduled an appointment. So I remember, and I'm very committed. When I schedule something, I don't like wasting people's time. So I remember I showed up to the appointment, and my partner at the time came with me. And back then I came to the office. I walked into the office and I met with Fernando. He's one of our brokers. And I sat with him, and when he was going through the information, I loved everything. And when I heard, especially the living benefits, everything we do for people, I really loved it. And I told him, hey, I love everything you guys do. And he told me, hey, we're looking for some good individuals to get licensed with us. And I told him, hey, I love it, but I don't have time. I can't fit in my schedule. And my partner at the time said he was looking for something. So he's like, I want to try it out. I was like, well, we can try it out. I said, I can. He's like, just get licensed and refer us people. How about that? So it's crazy. It's like out of an strainer, and I ended up here.
Wow. So buying a hair straightener led you to the financial industry. Now that is part of that whole first F, faith, about you, right? And you were right where you were supposed to be at that very moment. Nothing happens by mistake. Nothing.
And it's crazy because my mom was mad at me that day because that was my Christmas present, and I messed it up for her. But I think
Wow.
it had to be that way.
So when did you first? So you got into this. You went and got licensed. Did you start just referring people at first, or did you just jump in both feet?
No, I didn't. It actually took me a couple months because I was just running around all the time. So he told us I didn't get started with them. He told us, hey, come to our office. Like we have a company overview this day. And just come and meet the rest of the people, like meet our environment. I said, okay, I'm down for that. So, and I really like Fernando. He's an amazing person. So I said, okay, like we're committed to that. We'll come back. And then things happen. And my dad got really bad, so I couldn't come for months. So I remember like he was reaching out to us, checking on us how we were doing. And he just kept checking on us, like, and not even like to come, just asking me how I was, how my dad was. And after he passed away, he texted me, and I was like, you know what, like I committed, like I need to show up, I need to go. So I ended up coming to the office, and I just love all the people look so happy, and I was like, there has like something's up here, and. Once I started meeting the rest of the people, I really loved it. I got registered, but I didn't get licensed in a couple months because that's when, my dad had just passed away and COVID hit. And that's when I was kind of thinking about, like, I don't know if I want to do medicine anymore. I had most of the classes I needed for nursing, so I told my counselor, I think I'm just going to do a shared career for now. And he looked at me and he told me, hey, you look lost. I think you should take a break and think about what you want to do because you're wasting your time and your financial aid. And you're going to end up doing something you don't like. And he's like, they had some classes that talk about different careers. So I said, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. So I decided to take the break, and after I stopped taking classes, they had to fire me from school, and I still had to pay bills. So I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna get licensed. I already checked it out, and I decided to start coming to the office, and I was doing DoorDash in the afternoons to make some money.
We've all done it. I've done it. So
Yeah,
no,
I think most people. So I was doing DoorDash, coming to the office in the mornings. And I remember I had a conversation with Fernando, and he told me, if you're going to take a break from school, you got to make it worth it. Don't just come and don't do anything. So I said, you're right. So I wanted to build something before I decided going back to school or anything else I wanted to do. So I just started coming. I had my schedule set. I was coming in the mornings, working in the afternoons. But once I learned everything we do for people, I just really fell in love with it. And I said, this is what I want to do. And I decided to go in full time. I stopped doing everything else.
So that's when and that was my next question, is that's when you realized it was more than just this side income or a side hustle.
Yes.
Okay. So we're talking about parallels. So what parallels do you see between wanting to save lives in medicine and helping families financially?
And actually, yes, going back to taking the decision of coming in full time, we had something called Next Level Academy. When I started coming to the office, they had the Next Level Academy on Zoom. So I used to come on Saturdays, and I heard 2 doctors in business that were doing really good. I think at that time they were like over 2 million. They were making over 2 million per year. He was a surgeon, and I think she was a doctor. And she was talking exactly what I felt, the way I felt. She said, in medicine, we wanted to help people, but we couldn't help them if they didn't have money. Here we can help everybody, and that just really touched me. That was one of the things that really touched me. And the second is I heard Eric Olson talking about when he decided to go in full time. He went to a conference at Milet conference, and then Milet said something. He said, "Big decisions take you to big results." So that's when everything changed for me, and I said that I just felt it. I think it's hard to explain, but I just felt it. I felt that I belong here. So
you take it from having a medical career and saving lives, and then, like this doctor said, some of our patients can't afford it. So now you're taking people's lives and helping them to be able to afford these things down the road and be financially independent.
Yes, and be prepared, especially
preparation.
Yes, yep. Preparation. My dad, one of my favorite things we do is the living benefits, because every time I talk about it, I think, what would happen if my dad had one of these plans? He paid for his life insurance and health insurance through his work for over 15 years. He was working at a company and for a long time. And when he got sick, he couldn't work anymore. They told him, you can't keep your health insurance, not your life insurance, because you don't work with us anymore. And some companies allow you to keep him, but most jobs don't. So he lost his life insurance and he lost his health insurance. He went and get medical. And I remember just going through that. I remember the treatments, the appointments will take weeks and months before they get approved. So I seen people have the money to pay for the treatments right away, and they survive. So that was just a big thing for me.
Right. So we were talking about living benefits and stuff like that. And I just encourage people to go back to some of my earlier episodes where we have whole episodes that talk about life insurance, what it means, what those living benefits are. So I encourage you to go back and listen to some of those, because that will let you know some of the stuff that we're talking about here. And that's what I love about this show, is everybody feeds off of each other. And if there's something you need to know, you can listen to one of the other podcasts as well, one of the other episodes. So what challenges, and we're going to run a little bit over today because this is really, really good, and there's some emotion involved and things like that. So I didn't want to slow it down. So what challenges have you faced building this career at a young age?
First of all, I think I didn't have contacts. I didn't know a lot of people. I was really young, and coming here, I didn't talk to a lot of people for the first couple of years. So all my friends were my age, and of course all my family is in Mexico, so I didn't have a lot of people to talk to. But I really love the mission we have of helping families, so I said I have to figure it out. So I think one of the biggest challenges was the fact that I didn't know where to go and get, people and clients, and that's one of the biggest challenges. Another challenge is that one of the hardest things for me in English was to understand it when people were speaking. I could speak it and write it, but understanding it. So when I used to do trainings here at the office or sit and listen to the trainings, I only understood like 40% to 60% of what they were talking about. But yeah, I think I just stay persistent. I told people, keep showing up. Keep showing up, and I kept showing up. Sometimes I didn't have anything to do, and I kept showing up to the office, and and opportunities get to you.
It's funny as you mentioned that. Keep coming back, keep showing up. So my the gentleman a couple of weeks ago, Joe C, and we talk about it in recovery is, keep coming back until the miracle happens.
Yes.
We can almost put that into this phase of, or this aspect of life is, if you keep coming back to whatever it is you're doing, if you're passionate about it, if you love that, if that's what you love to do, and that is, and your why supports that, keep coming back until it works, until the miracle happens. And I'm seeing that, and I'm experiencing that myself in this business, pretty much too. So you've kind of talked about helping families achieve financial security being so important to you, and why. What are some key money or mindset lessons you wish everybody knew?
Okay, speaking of mindset, I think there's different types of mindsets. When I was in college, I thought I had a great mindset. I want to be a surgeon. I want to be someone in life. But when you come and meet people like the people we work with, we hang around now, I realized it's a completely different mindset. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for people to understand. When you're talking to people that are not in the same mindset level as you are, they don't understand what you're talking about, and you can realize. So I think you don't need to necessarily have that mindset. You can build a mindset by hanging out with the right people. That's how you grow. Some money key points I wish people knew is, of course, I think everybody should get education about how money works. I realize people say our Hispanic community doesn't want to learn about money. They're skeptical. But I started doing videos in Spanish, and I realized our community needs help, and they're looking for help. They just don't know where to go. So, of course, these are things that they should be teaching us at school, but they don't teach us these things at school. So I think just, keep looking for the information and give it the opportunity, because that's one of the reasons why we showed up too, is because they told us it's a financial literacy class. And I said, well, I always wanted to learn about money. We just never were able to afford it. So I was like, okay, if it's about like finances, I'll show up. I'll give it a shot. So I just wish people, one of the biggest things is don't spend the money you don't have yet.
Exactly.
Don't spend the money you have yet. Save money. That's one of the reasons why I was able to come in full time in this business, because I used to save a lot of money and I didn't overspend. And I used to do. I tell people, hey, like, people are gonna get money and they spend it before they even get it. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. You just gotta save a lot of money.
My dad taught me a long time ago, if you can't pay cash for it, you can't afford it.
Yes.
If I can't pay cash for it, I can't afford it. Now I have credit card debt, stuff like that. COVID hit, had to pay the bills. Business slow. I lost 90% of my business overnight. And so I had to figure something out. And, but I want to go back a minute to the mindset deal and what you talked about. There's a thing called your top 5. So what I want to say is, and this is what helps people figure out the mindset that is helpful to them, is if the top 5 people in your life aren't feeding your why, change the top 5.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so if you've got top 5 people in your life, family, whatever, it doesn't mean that you don't love them, you don't care about them. But what I've done, and I'm a prime example. The top 5 people in my life weren't feeding my why. So I met people in this office who are now my top 5 in my business, in my mindset, and it has completely completely restructured my whole mindset when it comes to business and everything in my life. So if your top 5 people, and I encourage everybody to write this down, if your top 5 people aren't feeding your why and helping you build that why, change your top 5. Period. Yes. It's that simple. So, Sandra, what does legacy mean to you personally?
Legacy. That's an amazing word. I love it. So, legacy for me, it means, of course, part of it is freedom, but not just for me. So I said, I want to make a big impact. I want to help a lot of people. So for me, leaving a legacy behind, of course, I want to help my family and generations to come. I have siblings. I have nieces and nephews. I don't have any kids yet, but of course, for my future kids, I want to make sure I can leave a legacy so they never had to go through what we went through. That's one of the things. Of course, financially, I tell people, people say money doesn't buy happiness. I really don't think that's a fact. It just depends what happiness is for you. You know, happiness for me would have been to be able to pay my dad's treatment. At least he wouldn't be through so much pain. You know, happiness to me is like being able to retire my mom, and that's one of the things that I was able to do. And that's a different subject, but that's one of the things legacy means for me. But not just that. I want to do more than that. I want to open organizations. I love animals. So one of my biggest dreams is I want to buy a ranch, big ranch, and just rescue every dog, every cat, every animal I find in the streets. That's what I want to do the most, and leave that as a legacy, not just for my family, just something that meant something. I want to open an organization for cancer patients. I want to do a lot of things. That's why
well, you and I get together on that ranch thing because I can help you out with that. So
awesome. I love it.
Yeah. So, and we've kind of talked about it, but in closing, we're kind of wrapping this up. We've gone a little bit over, but I appreciate everybody for sticking it out. How do you hope to impact other young people, especially immigrants, through your work? And you already talked about the foundations and the organizations you want to create, but what else?
So I think
closer to home.
Yes. I think we come here to this country looking for the American dream. And what is the American dream, right? To be able to buy a property, to buy a home, and be able to, take care of your family. Have American a better
dream. We know now what they're saying is the American dream from then is now the American nightmare. So
yes,
I think that go ahead with what you're saying. I just had to add that.
Exactly. And I hear that. So people come here and they have big dreams and goals, and most people say, I want to buy a home in my country and go back, and they come and they work and never buy anything, never get anything done. And I've seen it over and over and over again. So I sit with families all the time, and they don't even own a property. They've been here for 20 plus years. So I want to impact those families by, okay, you have a dream here, we want to help you plan it so you can actually achieve the goals and actually live the American dream, and not just come and work your life out and then don't have anything at the end. So that's one of the reasons, of course, like helping people plan financially so they can be financially stable, financially free in the future, and be able to achieve those goals by preparation. And the second one is giving people the opportunity, right? Like a lot of people come here and they think because they don't have a college degree, they can't do anything, they can do better. And the reality is that our opportunity is so big that anyone can do it as long as they want to do it. They really want to achieve something.
Okay, so you already answered my next questions. What's next for you? You want to ranch, you want to help animals, you want to build some foundations, you want to help people travel. Your mom, you already helped her in a big way. So it's amazing these last couple of weeks. You and Giovanna, you guys are close. I connect your stories. It's really amazing to hear. You guys are amazing, driven women in this office. I love coming in here. You guys are part of my top 5 because your mindset is what it drives me to do better. You guys helped me with start the podcast. You guys helped me with, get my book going. You guys are helping me with my business growing. all of that. And it's just amazing. So thank you for coming in today and sharing more of your story and going a little deeper. And I think we went a little deeper than you expected, but I think it's an amazing thing, you know, and it's empowering to be able to get it out there. And now that it's like, oh, now that people know, you know, you can build on that. So is there any last words you want to tell to my listeners?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
It's the first time I do a podcast. It was really, really fun. I love it. I think one of the things we were talking about is your top 5. I tell people that your family doesn't support you. When I first started this career, my mom was really skeptical and really afraid for me. She always supported me in what I wanted to do, but she was skeptical. So that's when I noticed people don't, and I heard this from my lead as well, people don't tell you negative things because they don't believe on you. They're just reflecting what they feel. And that doesn't mean how they feel about themselves. The other fears they have about themselves. So that doesn't mean you have to stop talking to them. Like, so as you said, just hang out with the right people.
It doesn't mean that you don't love your family. You know, I've got people in my house. I love them. I love them dearly. However, it's not a bad thing that they have a different culture, a different mindset than I do about where I'm going. But I think that, you know, it's like, what it was if you lead, they'll follow. If you lead the right path, they'll follow once they see it.
Yes, my mom said she's actually licensed. She's working with me.
And your mom's amazing. I see her around the office amazing. And stuff. Yeah, she's amazing. Yes.
And this definitely changed my life. Just want to mention something real quick. Since I was little, I always had the dream to buy my mom a home. We just paid off our home last year. And
that's awesome. And I heard I wasn't going to mention that. I was going to see if you didn't, I was going to go ahead, but that's awesome.
Yes, and it's just, you know, like just telling people you can achieve whatever you want. You just got to work hard for it. And we've been working really hard. And another thing is I wanted to retire my mom. That was another of my goals. And I never asked my mom if she wanted to retire. You know, I never asked her, Mom, do you want to retire? And I just realized now that she's working with us that her dream was to be back working at an office. And it's just amazing to be able to help her with that.
I can see that she loves it.
She loves it.
She absolutely loves it. I see her around here asking and doing and going, and it's like, it's amazing. The culture here in this office has changed my business perspective and mindset 1,000%. So if you want to know more, thank you again, Sandra, for coming. If you want to know more, I'm going to get some information where you can connect with Sandra, our team. If you have any more questions of how we're doing this, evanslegacyfinancial.com. Drop me a note at the bottom. But, you know, thank you again for coming. It's really amazing working with you. Thanks for tuning into the Evans Legacy Financial Podcast. If you got value from today's episode, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us for more real conversations that move the needle in life and business. Until next time, keep building, keep growing, and never stop chasing what matters.